here. So I combed it all out and retwisted it. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. Then I thought, oh my God, I got to meet with Michelle today. Look at a hot mess.
Right.
Okay, the meeting is being live streamed. Wonderful. Now
Mhm.
everybody just heard everything I said.
Nope, it just came on. And let me share it into Zoom, into Facebook. No, I'm going to have to share it different. All right, welcome. We have one technical moment. I don't know what to do with my phone. So hang tight. I know we're live, but we'll be okay. You want to sing to the people? No, you don't want to sing to the people.
I didn't know that was on the agenda. If I had prior notice, I could have practiced and had something prepared.
Together, okay. Yeah, it's that way sometimes. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Live with Michelle Vann. We are here tonight with another show. Oh, yeah. So, you want to introduce yourself to the peoples? Tell them who you be.
Well, thank you, Miss Dr. Michelle. I so appreciate this opportunity. Thanks for inviting me. And as already stated, I'm Dr. Anissa Short. I'm the success strategist, the director of the Chosen Pen Group. I am a woman very passionate about helping entrepreneurs, speakers, and authors, or those who desire to be authors, to create their signature book as an extension of their platform, whether they be in business, career professionals, directors of nonprofits, women in ministry. I just believe everyone's voice has value. In addition
Mhm.
to being the director of a publishing company, I am my husband's awesome wife and a woman who loves ice cream, meeting people, and trips to the ocean.
So if you have to say so yourself.
Listen, I'm not gonna wait for anybody to give me my kudos. I know I do the doggone thing.
So we met in the author space and looking at working with Chosen Pen, working with Dr. Norma, and really just trying to figure out, where we all kind of aligned together and ended up being part of an anthology together.
You know what, Michelle? I'm going to take us back. You and I actually met in the virtual space by way of Coach Sean Strickland.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's what we made our initial connection during the COVID whole,
Yeah. The world
era.
was flat for
The
a moment.
world was flat and we all were in a virtual space. And so we connected initially there. And I extended invitation or either vice versa to be a part of a virtual event. And then we went from there to co-authoring a book together. So we've been down like flat tires since at least 2020.
Right. And did Becoming, a Shiro, and then have worked on some other things, went, do a little bit of vacationing together and some other things. Now, this will be your first time at Live Well.
It will be.
We extended our, you have come to Wichita to do some other things. We did some things around forgiveness and working through some forgiveness pieces. And we were starting to write healing plates. Dr. Norma started and then brought me into that. And then I've kind of taken over that piece. And so Tell us a little bit about why you believe that writing is so important for women.
Writing is therapeutic. It's one of the biggest reasons why it aligns so perfectly with the theme of your retreat is
Mhm.
because for those who are in the therapeutic space, they talk about journaling, the importance of journaling as a healing methodology. Coloring
Mhm.
is something else that is extended as something that people should embrace in their healing journey. And then, of course, as a believer, Michelle, the Word of God tells us that we overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony.
Right.
And for those who are a part of Christian spaces, your testimony is just not what you do on Sunday during services. It is what you actually pen and author. And so I know from experience in working with various authors how cathartic the experience is. Healing occurs in the process. And so when I say your voice has value, that's one of the reasons why I know there's great value tied to one using their voice in a capacity as a published author because of the healing that occurs not only for the author but for the reader.
As you think about that, as you think about what happens when we begin to write, when we begin to journal, when we begin to draw, all of those things have a specific place within our mind that allow us to retreat, which allow us to get out our frustrations, to allow
Mhm.
us to break
Yeah.
through. How do you think that ties to legacy?
It ties greatly to legacy. Too often in our community, we have two extremes, to some degree. First of all, much of what we know about our history over the years was passed down.
Hmm.
But as much as we like to talk about our history and we brag about the great accomplishments and the things that we have overcome, there's also that element of secrecy where things
Mm.
happen within family structures or within communities. And we've heard the phrase, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. And unfortunately, when it comes to things such as traumas, family traumas, and life traumas, let me just say it
Mhm.
that way. I don't want to necessarily make it exclusive to family trauma, but just traumas themselves. When I made reference to the fact that writing oftentimes allows the person to go through a healing process, it also serves as a way to break curses or
Mhm.
strongholds because you would,
Mhm.
and then because you have one would have the courage to be authentic and transparent and press beyond the past and put whatever's out there that needs to be out there to heal themselves, then you break the stronghold that would possibly allow it to, you know, go from one from your generation to the next generation.
Right.
And then not only that, there's a lot of value to. I think about my grandmother's now been deceased about 22 years, and we still have her recipes in
Right.
her handwriting.
Right.
We have a letter that she wrote to the family about how she wanted everybody to still get together and have family dinners. And so my nephews and younger cousins can see her letter. They've
Right.
never met her, but the fact that she has communicated to the family for years, decades have now passed, and
Right.
they still get to see and know not just that she existed, but they have a piece of her in
Mhm.
what she left behind. So definitely legacy. There's a lot of legacy tied to when one chooses to write and publish.
When you were talking, one of the things that I thought about that we don't always necessarily think about is often in business, we're doing a lot of things. If
Yeah.
we chronicle those things, often we will forget them.
Yes.
And when we're coming to situations like we're transitioning from one job or we're trying to tell people what it is that we do or what we've done, we can't remember because we did it not really thinking about it, just did it because it was part of our skill set and then moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
As we write, as we journal, as we begin to think about what we're doing, if we will chronicle those things, it also gives us that ability to go back and look at it when the enemy comes to us and says, "Oh, but you can't." "Oh, but I did."
Oh, but I did exactly. And that's a very valid point, Michelle. Because here's another thing: how many times have you, in the course of an 8 hour, 9 hour, 10 hour day, you've been busy, and at the end of the day, maybe some of the things that you really thought you wanted to get accomplished or completed, you didn't get
Mhm.
completed, and you began to go like, oh, I've been busy all day and it's just such a waste. But if you had chronicled what you did accomplish, you could reflect back and say, well, I didn't get the big thing done, but I
Mhm.
did manage to knock out about seven smaller things. So there's
Mhm.
another sense of accomplishment. And then, of course, when we look at the fact that we have responsibility to the next generation, I think it's important for us to chronicle a lot
Mhm.
because our children and our nieces and nephews and those that come after us don't have to make the same dumb mistakes that we made. If we,
Exactly.
and that's why being transparent and authentic in publishing and writing is important because we serve as a voice. We are
Mhm.
mentoring others, whether they are, intimately connected to us or not. So yes, chronicling, keeping a record of those, do's and don'ts, errors, mistakes. They're not really mistakes in the sense that they really could be lessons for not only ourselves but other people as well.
Yeah, we learn or we learn.
Yeah, right.
So it's all a learning. We win, and we learn
Yeah.
through all of those things. As you have begin to write, and I know some of your writing is around and speaks to women that are in business. Why is that so important to really speak to the heart of women for you?
Well, I believe that women have a superpower unlike men. Now
Mhm.
we're different. We have some
Mhm.
similarities, but we're different. And women are wired differently. The one of the biggest I want to say negatives or I don't want to say downfalls in a sense, but in my working with women in business, one of the things is that I found is that while we are multi-gifted, multi-talented, and we have these superpowers, we oftentimes discredit ourselves.
Absolutely.
We don't have the level of confidence. I mean, we can move mountains, part red seas, turn water to wine, bring home the bacon fried up in the pan, the whole nine.
Mhm.
And then we discredit what we bring to the table. And so I believe, well, I know without a shadow of a doubt that my gifting is teaching and encouraging.
Mhm.
And so in my writing, my purpose is to serve both of those, use both of those giftings to support women in business. Now, I am also one, whether they be an entrepreneur or operating a nonprofit. I am very much so about women creating, um, improving their financial footprint
Mhm.
individually first. I was a big proponent of that before I married. So my attitude was I wanted to become self-sufficient. I
Mhm.
don't want to be dependent on anyone. Now, if I come along and he wants me to, he wants to care for me, that's great. But I was not going to move about in life with that as my ultimate game plan. My
Right.
desire was to be self sufficient. So I believe entrepreneurship is one of those vehicles that women can use, even if they choose to operate a 9 to 5 and go to a traditional job.
Mhm.
Having something of your own, a platform of your own, a brand of your own, is a way in which to create not only that strengthen their financial footprint, but also something they can pass on to their children.
Yeah. Um, so I want you to kind of speak to the ideal of a little bit about an MLM, mainly because I know that you were very successful in a very popular MLM, and sometimes people believe, oh, they think, oh, they're all pyramid schemes. Well, realistically, all of life, somebody is above you and somebody is below you, and
Right,
you're
right,
pushing someone and you're pulling someone else. So
right.
realistically, there's always that leveled sort of space. No matter where you are, there's levels
Yeah,
in every job and everything. And so kind of talk to the people a little bit about that, because I think sometimes people don't get into some when that could really be a revenue stream. That would be a
it
great way
could
of,
be.
especially if they're
Right.
working a 9 to 5, but they want something else.
That's true. One of the things I found as a result of being a part of the direct sales community, a lot of times people use MLM or multi-level marketing. I preferred the direct sales space because every company was structured differently, so it
Right.
just depended.
Hmm.
But aside from all of that, if one is looking to create additional income for their household, whether that be for gas and groceries, to supplement retirement, to take care of childcare, things of that nature. I always thought and taught that it was smart to operate a business from your home versus getting a traditional job,
Mm-hmm.
part-time job that is. So you have a full-time, 9 to 5. That's great. But why would you want to be at the mercy of someone else and dictating your
Mm.
hours and things of
Look at
that
what's
nature?
happening right now.
Exactly. So I have always said that you should have something of your own. And one of the reasons why I gravitated to a direct sales model is because of the easy startup. I could start
Hmm.
an entrepreneurial venture within the walls of my home. My investment was very low. There was a lot less risk associated with that rather than a brick and mortar. Because if you brick and mortar, if you buy the inventory and the business flops, now you got that as well as all this inventory to get rid of, right?
Garage full.
A garage full of stuff. And so
Hmm.
that served me well because as a full-time employee at the time and we didn't have children, we were looking for taxable advantages as well. And so there
Hmm.
was another benefit to having the home-based model because I could take advantage of the taxable advantages afforded those with a home-based business. I could get a discount on the things I use. That was another
Right,
plus, right? And
right.
then because of the way the business was structured, I really had total control over how much I earned or chose to
Hmm.
pay myself. I
Hmm.
knew what the math was. I knew if I divided by two, that my profit was easy to figure out. I didn't have to
Hmm.
worry about the varied levels. Some companies are not the same. They have varied levels depending
Hmm.
on products sold or products ordered and things of that nature. The model that the company I was with was pretty self-explanatory. So it was like divide by two, that's your profit. So that was easy. Another thing that I loved about the space that I was in, and I still am to some degree, is the fact that it really catered to women. It
Right.
really poured into building up the confidence of women and
Hmm.
reassuring women of their superpower, as I said before. And
Hmm.
so that was a great model for me because it aligned perfectly with my life philosophy about working with women.
Hmm.
I felt like I was the champion for women,
Right.
period. And so this business model allowed me to use my voice in that capacity even the more. That's why I end up in a leadership capacity because I began to build teams and teams of teams and served as their mentor and their coach. And so for those who are looking for something and they are limited on finances and not really sure, I always say choose something like a multi-level marketing company or direct sales company because of the taxable advantages, because of the low startup cost, the low risk that's involved, and to find a company that's aligned with your values. I say find a product that's
That you
consumable.
like something that you already are
Yeah, that
using
you like
anyway.
and that's consumable because if they're constantly using it, they need
Hmm.
more. I only need so many wall pictures on my wall. I mean,
That part.
seriously.
You only got so
You
much
know,
space.
I
Yeah.
only have so much space. So,
Yeah.
those are the things that, and then to do your homework. Don't make a decision based on emotion alone. Make
Hmm.
an informed decision so that you can, compare apples with apples. Don't believe everything you hear because if the person that's speaking has not been involved in a multi-level company, they are not the people for which you should talk with. All
Right.
right. So
Right.
yeah, I believe there are benefits to it. And even though I made a decision to step down out of the leadership capacity to pursue publishing on a full-time, more aggressively, I am still connected to the company because I believe
Hmm.
in the philosophy, the products, and I have so many great customers that I'm connected to.
Right. And I think one of the things that you said, I think is really important. If you're looking for leadership, if you're looking for ways to gain leadership skills, if you are
Mhm.
looking for ways to advance and to learn, because one of the things about really good quality direct sales and multi-level marketing companies is that they give you good
They
training.
do. They really
And
do.
so
They really do.
so if you will really adhere to that, sometimes we're looking for training and we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars when you can get it for free as
Exactly.
part of
Hands
those
on.
companies.
Yeah. Though, and you know what? And that's a very valid point, Michelle, because here's the thing for me. My platform in working with women grew as a result of me being connected to this company. So what I'm doing now is a offshoot of me being connected with the company indirectly, really, which may sound odd to some people because they're nowhere near related. They don't mirror each other, they don't parallel each other. However, they still both allow me to use my voice to encourage women and build up the women's confidence and to champion the success of women. So from that perspective they do, but it was with my desire to support other women who were operating home-based businesses that led to me writing my first book, and then that led to multiple books, and then that now it leads to me being on the other side of the table and helping other women publish their books.
Yeah. And why is it so important? When we think about that publishing space, why is it so important to have people of color who are in those spaces and helping?
Historically, Michelle, and it's not as common as it once was, but it still exists. At one point in time, most traditional publishers are those who had the greater percentage of the market did not even consider people of color for publishing. As a matter of fact, in 2023, I had the privilege of going to Paris, France,
Mm-hmm.
to go to the oldest African American bookstore in Paris, France, which is also a publishing house. And
Mm-hmm.
what people don't know is that authors like Toni Morrison, when they wrote their first books, they could not be published. They would not, no one in the United States will publish for them. They
Mm.
went to this bookstore and had their books published.
Mm-hmm.
So, in light of that, Dr. Norma McLaughlin started Chosen Pen Publishing in 2013. We have since rebranded to Chosen Pen Group, but that was one of her missions, is to offer a platform for people of color to get their books published, and not just to do so, but to do so and to be assured of the fact that when the project is complete, it's according to publishing standards. It's an excellent work of fiction or nonfiction or what have
Mm-hmm.
you, and they can be comfortable and proud of the end result. And so because I'm like her legacy, so to say, I'm parallel and
Next
working hand in hand
generation.
with her, right? The mission continues. And while I'm not anti anyone, I am very much about my community. I'm really
Mhm.
passionate about women, period. Because I've realized sometimes our voices are muffled. We see that now. They
Yeah.
want us to be barefoot and pregnant, and that's it. But anywho, um yeah, so we have to have having our own representation is important, Michelle.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Now let's shift gears just a little bit and let's talk about one of the things you and I and your husband and my husband, we went to Jamaica together, and kind of at that point the boys were able to meet each other, uh,
Yeah.
and then they kind of were like, okay, you know what,
And that's a good thing, isn't it? Because
okay,
sometimes the ladies jail and the men are kind of like, you
right.
know.
Right. And so they found out that they were very similar in personalities, and so part of what we're looking at is marriage encounters. And so while we have been doing marriage encounters on Mondays, we also have been in conversation with you all about how do we do some of those things together. And
Right.
so tell us why um, working with women, working with marriages is important to you now.
It's one of those assignments that we were thrust in, honestly,
Mhm.
many years ago at a church that we once attended. The pastors, I want to say, voluntold us. That's the best way to. They wanted us to be in charge of the marriage ministry, at which time we had only been married probably about 5 years. We
Mhm.
were very new to the ministry at the time, and but they trusted us with the assignment, and the objective was to host things on a quarterly basis within the church for the married couples or those who
Mhm.
desired to be married. And that involved little get-togethers, that involve workshops and things of that nature, and then also fun events. Now,
Mhm.
it did not take long, Michelle, for me to understand that working with people in the church is slightly different than working with people elsewhere. So I wanted to quit. I was not allowed to quit. But what it did, it helped me to develop my leadership skills. It really did. It
Mhm.
helped me. It really helped hone in my leadership skills. Well, over time, that assignment never changed. It just
Mhm.
ended up being one of those things where people outside of there were younger people in our church who were early 20s, and they started dating, and before they got married they wanted to hang out with Al and I. They would come
Mhm.
over and we would just have real conversation about courtship and things of that nature. So I think it's been, I don't think I know, it has kind of followed us, right?
Mhm.
After moving, we decided we wanted to start hosting events of our own, but outside of the church walls.
Mhm.
We wanted to host events that would not be counseling sessions, but events and gatherings that would encourage and celebrate marriage. That's the objective. Not to say that marriages don't face challenges, because they do, but we're not trying to be anyone's counselor. We want
Mm-hmm.
to create events, and that's where the love and laughter community started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after some talks and not talking, and then life would happen. We just went, it was a bunch of ebbs and flows in the conversation. And then finally, I was like, let's just do it. It didn't have to be pretty. Let's just start.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started going live on social media, just talking. We started at our 25th wedding anniversary, and
Mm-hmm.
we shared our story for 4 weeks straight on Friday. Then we call it a date night, and we told our story about how we met and things of that nature. So then people began to gravitate to us, and then we stopped. I don't know why we stopped, but anyway, so we're back at it again. And so the love and laughter, we call it a date night experience. We host them once a month on Thursdays. And our desire is to eventually do it more consistently. But right now, that's what we picked up and we moved forward. And then, of course, we started planning a retreat because we had
Mm-hmm.
people interested in a retreat. And that's when we found out you. I said, what? Wait a minute. She's doing a retreat the same week we're doing a retreat. This makes no sense. We should just do this together. So yeah, I just believe I believe in the institution of marriage. I believe that marriage gets a bad rap. We hear
Mm-hmm.
more about the negatives of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that what has been shared is not real, not reality for some people, but there are a lot of people creating awesome lives together as married couples, and they don't get as much recognition. So rather than complain about what's not being shown, we decided to be a part of the answer.
And you don't have to be in a situation where you've had what we call hits, runs, or fouls.
Yeah,
Uh, you don't have to have any of those. You don't have to
yeah,
have domestic violence. You don't have to have cheated. You
no.
don't have to, like some people, you can just be married and just be married.
Right.
You
Imagine
know.
that, Michelle. I mean, really? And and the unfortunate thing about it is that much of what you just referenced is what we hear about all the time.
Hmm.
So because of that, because of the, all of the negatives that are shared, there are people who don't desire marriage because that's all they know and that's all they've heard.
Sure.
So
Sure.
when they see, I think maybe Al and I at this point had been married about 10 years, and there was a situation that arose, and we went and had our mentors to talk with us, to talk us through it. And then the question was asked, well, do you all ever fight? We were like, well, no, not really. I just don't believe that. I'm like, well, we don't always agree, but we don't fight. I mean, we don't.
Yeah, because I think there's a difference. We don't have
Yeah,
to agree.
right. You don't
We
have
don't
to
have
agree,
to
but you don't
agree.
have to fight. And they were
Right.
like, you all don't ever get into just a flat out argument. I'm like, no, we haven't. And they were looking at us like we had, three eyes and horns. And I'm like, well, no, because the philosophy, my mentality is this: you may not always agree with your boss. Your boss
Hmm.
can make you hot as fish grease, as we say here in the South. But do
Right.
you scream and holler at them? No, you compose yourself because of the respect that you have for the position that they hold, right? And
Right.
so you might disagree. You use your words carefully because while you may not agree with this boss, you still need to
Mhm.
show up tomorrow for work. Well,
And you
why
don't
is
and you don't want to necessarily put something out there that you got to try to walk back.
yeah, walk back, right? So if we know how to do that on our jobs, why can't we do that at home?
That. Come on now.
It's the same principle. It really
Same
is. So
principle.
there's a mutual respect between the two of us. Now I know how to argue. I have mastered arguing. In a previous life, I think I got my certificate in being able to argue, but my husband is not an arguer. So it's like, well, it takes the fun out of the experience if you're not gonna come back. So
Right. Right. Right.
peace is holds so much greater value than arguing.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
finding out a way to maintain peace. And so love and laughter is the term we use for our community, because that has been our prayer since we married, that our home will be filled with love and laughter.
We are faith, fun, and forever love. Yeah.
Love it, love it,
So
love
we
it.
will be going to St. Thomas in March. It
I
is
know.
going to be amazing. That is Black Marriage Weekend.
I'm excited.
And it is going to be an amazing week of just relaxing, sewing into each other, pouring into each other,
Yeah.
just getting to know all of the people that are going a little bit better and making sure
Right.
that we love on them.
Right. And then creating a community.
Hmm.
Because they're all of us that are attending, and we're staying in this awesome villa. Oh,
It's
this beautiful
amazing.
villa
It's
together.
so
It's amazing. And while I know one of the other couples, and you know some of the other couples, everyone doesn't know everyone. The common denominator is they either know you and Bill or Al and I, you know.
hmm
but we all share a common bond. So, we were like drama free. We don't want no
Yeah,
drama.
nobody's trying to have none of that.
No drama, no drama allowed. But everybody's looking forward to coming, and that's the
Hmm.
plus. And so we have an excellent travel agent, Miss
Hmm.
Jolana Walker Herman, and
Yes.
the plans they have, and the added and then some of which we won't talk about because we want some element of surprise.
But it's going to be so
It
amazing.
is.
So
It's going to be
amazing.
so amazing. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I'm ready to go now.
Well, here's
Honestly.
the thing. So, it's like it dropped from being 70 degrees to
Oh
like
my
50
God.
degrees. And so I started putting up summer stuff because we just came back from, where were we just at? We were in
Y'all got to
Cancun.
Cancun, didn't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
we were in Cancun. And so, so I was putting up summer stuff and I was like, I don't really want to put this stuff up. I just want to put it in another bag and go somewhere where it's warm.
I know, right? I feel the same way because it was 50 something degrees yesterday and it was the same today. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this.
Not at all. Not at all. All right. So we are at the end of our time, but tell the people what it is that you would love for them to know and be thinking about from now until they see you in a few weeks here in Wichita.
Well, I want them to give serious consideration as to what their signature book could be or should be. And I mean that with all sincerity. If you're a ministry leader, if you are the director of a nonprofit, if you are a stay at home mom that homeschools children, if you work a 9 to 5 and you're a career professional, if you're an entrepreneur, if you've suffered any childhood trauma, if you've overcome in any way, if you have pearls of wisdom that you can extend, everyone should have and could have their own signature book, even if it's simply a devotional. And the
Mhm.
reason I find that to be so important, if from one perspective, especially when with the community of women, is that we need more female mentors for our younger
Mm.
generation. And
Mhm.
there may not be opportunity for you to meet with a younger female or someone that might be younger in age or may have less experience. There's a principle in the Bible in Titus 2 where it says the older women should teach the younger women. It also says that about the men. And while we do oftentimes think of our mothers as the ones that's teaching those that are younger, that also could be applicable for those with more experience,
Right.
those who are
May
wiser.
not be chronology.
May not be, yeah, it may not be based on age, but just based on experience and maturation. So, with that said, what would be the message you would give to your younger self? What is the message? What are those lessons learned and the things that you now know better that you could offer to someone else that's younger than you, whether that be in age or maturity? And that's your signature book. So, whether
Mhm.
you have a ministry platform and you can preach the rafters down, that's all fine and well. But what's going to be the message that you leave behind when you're no longer here? That's the legacy aspect of it as well, Michelle.
Mm. So, Anissa is going to be sharing with us. She's going to lead us in some writing activities.
Yeah,
This may be the spark of your book,
it could very well be.
2025. This last quarter, this may be the spark of you beginning to write that book. It's in you.
Absolutely.
It's in you.
It's in everybody. A lot
It's
of times
not.
we say it and we do it, but we allow life and distractions to keep us from moving forward. Oftentimes because we are intimidated by the process, we don't know enough to move forward. Well, that's where I come in. I am your friend, I am your neighbor. I'm the girl next door. I will walk you through the process to help you do what it is that needs to be done because I believe your book is needed because your voice has value.
And I will tell you, just from being going through the process with Anissa and writing and doing an anthology, um, you know, all of us didn't always do right. But even in that process, just having that somebody there to continue to say, okay, this needs to be done by this time. This needs to be done by this time. And because sometimes that's the biggest piece is that,
Yeah,
you know,
accountability.
having that accountability, having that person that's saying, you got this. This is
Yeah,
great. Give me a little more. I love this. How can you, push forth a little bit more here? Let's, do this, do this, do that. Sometimes it's just once you can get that first one out, then the second
yeah,
one's not as hard and so on and so
exactly.
on
It,
because the
it
message is there.
Yeah, true. And Michelle, in your saying that, one of the things that, I may as well just put it out there now. I thought about it. I said, what if all of the women that you have coming in, if they did a collective anthology and we called it Live Well?
Yes. I,
That's
I
just a
I
thought.
think that's amazing idea that we should probably work through.
I know we should
And
have our people contact their people and see what
yes,
happens,
and then
right?
like everybody do their sections over the weekend,
Exactly.
and
That's
then
that's Listen,
it'd
say no more. It's a done deal for
it'd
me.
be
It
done.
really is. It would be done. And
It'd
then
be
we could have it available for your next Live Well event. And we could be talking, we could be sharing, and the platform all of 2026 could be talking about living well. Everybody bringing their own perspective. We come to Kansas, y'all come to Mississippi or the Memphis area. We go wherever else your people are. I see it. I can see it in my mind's eye. I see it happening. So,
this is why I connect myself to visionary women, because I don't have to have all the answers. I just have to
and
be in
doesn't it
the
feel
right
good?
places.
Right. Right
And that's
community.
why this is why, sometimes people say, well, why you bring, who are they? Don't worry about who they are. Just know that I am connected to women who are amazing in their own spaces. And
Yeah.
the reason why I'm bringing them here, the reason why I'm putting them before you is because I know their talent that they have and the things that they will bring to you.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited
I'm
about
excited as
this
well.
weekend. It is going to be amazing. It is going to be amazing. We're going to be at Two Beats on Friday. For those of you that choose to do VIP, Friday night we will be at Two Beats, and this is going to be sharing there. And Nicole Salas is going to be sharing there. It's going to be amazing. And then Saturday, we're going to come in. We will be at the center so that we have space and time, and we're not rushed by anybody. And if we get done on time, great. If we don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because what we want is to make sure that when you leave, you understand how to release that control, how to alter the things that need to be altered within your spirit so that you can believe again,
Yes.
you can live well.
That's good. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you again for the invite. My ticket has been purchased. And so I'm looking forward to all the things. I really am. As a matter of fact, I might just go ahead and pack my suitcase.
All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate you, and we will see you soon.
See you soon, Michelle. Have a great one.